Well, hello everybody. Hello to Module 4. And today we'll be talking about creating raving fans. Let me share the screen with you and we can get it all started. Here we go. So this is Module 4. And I hope you guys see that all the modules are interrelated and connected with each other. So we talked about the numbers, we talked about key performance indicators, we talked about the pricing strategy, and now we're pulling it all together. And today's module is all about creating raving fans. And it's just a more soulful way of saying, how do we increase our retention? Because retention is the number one challenge that we face in the yoga industry. And like I said on the last call, if you do absolutely nothing, if you just focused on, teaching amazing yoga classes, having a wonderful facility for your yogis, in other words, you are not conscious and deliberate and mindful around your pricing strategy, about your marketing, about your retention, about all the things that we'll talk about today, then your year-over-year retention will be only 10%, which is low, which means that only 10% of your last year's clients are coming this year. And that means that you have to do colossal efforts, put in a colossal effort to bring in new clients. So today's module is all about retention. How do we keep the clients who have already been coming, who have already stepped into the door of our yoga studio? How do we keep them? How do we keep them engaged? How do we build community? So let's start. Let's get started. And as always, I like to start with a moment of meditation so that we can recalibrate, ground down, and set an intention for today's module. So sit up tall, and if your legs are crossed, uncross your legs, and you can close your eyes and take a really deep breath in. And exhale all the breath out, relaxing your belly, relax your shoulders. Let's do that again. Inhale, and this time truly enjoy your breath. Exhale, softening your throat, relax your upper back. And one more time, big, delicious, luxurious breath in and breath out. And in this moment right now, I ask for divine guidance. So everything that needs to be said is being said, so that everything that we need to hear, see, and understand comes to us very easily, effortlessly, so that we can truly step into the flow. We can step into that flow where we are truly connected to our passion, to our heart's desire, to our wish to, do this incredible work in the world, spread the light and help people live a happy, abundant, joyous, and healthy lives. Let us hear what we need to hear. Let us learn quickly and easily. Let us understand everything that we need to understand to take our business to that next level where we can step into the flow of wealth. And I mean it in every meaning of this word, meaning the wealth of joy, the wealth of energy, the wealth of knowledge, the wealth of money, prosperity, new clients, amazing community, open-minded people, the wealth of yoga teachers and people on our team who help us co-create our vision and make our dreams become our reality. So take a deep breath. I always say that all this amazing work we can do together, and in the end of the day, to me, it's all about that divine guidance, that synchronicity, that favor, that luck, and I truly believe that the more I do this outstanding work, the more grace shows up in my life. Okay, so let's start. I heard this saying in one of the Tony Robbins seminars, and it goes like this: success of any business depends on just two things, innovation and marketing. And I believe this is to be an absolute truth. Innovation and marketing is everything. And when I say innovation, I mean it in every meaning of this word. Innovation around the services and products that you offer, right? Innovation around how you treat your clients, your team, innovation about the experiences that you offer at your place of business, innovation when it comes to your own way of thinking and looking at the things. Innovation and marketing is the key. And I have this really funny story to tell you guys, and maybe you have a similar experience, but in my experience, when I first stepped into the world of yoga, I had my favorite teacher, and I've done tons of trainings with her, and I wholeheartedly believe that that type of yoga was the best yoga in the world. And I was like really judgy around other people, other types of yoga. I was really judgy about people doing, disco lights and loud music and like adding, acrobatics and push-ups and weights in yoga. I was like, this is not real yoga. And it used to be like super judgy and super inflexible around that. And, my clients used to tell me, well, we really like it that way. And we like the music, we like this and that. And I used to be like, whatever, that's not real yoga. So my clients would tell me what they wanted, and I was incredibly inflexible. And, as a result, I lost a lot of clients when I ran my yoga studios. So to me, innovation is also about being flexible and being responsive to whatever it is that your community wants, to whatever it is that the market requires. Be flexible and open-minded around innovation, trying out new things, experimenting with them, and seeing what works and what doesn't work. So what I'm saying is, become obsessed with innovation. And to me, this is one of the keys of running a hugely successful business. And moreover, it's one of the keys of creating a really incredible community. So become obsessed with innovation in every meaning of this word. Not only innovation around the services and products that you offer, but innovation around the experiences that you offer and the way you treat your clients and your employees. And what that means to me is innovation around creating raving fans, meaning your clients, and innovation around your team, who are also your raving fans, right? So we'll talk more about it right now. And then I'll talk a bit in general terms, and then I'll give you very hands-on practical examples towards the end of the call. So raving fan-centered culture. I think, if you want your business to be successful, if you want to have a thriving business, you need to make a commitment that your clients, that your community is your number one priority. So, and that creates a, raving fan-centered culture. And culture is everything. At my yoga studios, Yoga One, we had a very, very strong culture, and it was very deliberate and very mindful. My husband and I cultivated a sense of community and culture, very strong culture with very strong core values that were our values as leaders and as creators of our community. And it was very intentional throughout the entire organization. It was very obvious that we valued community and our culture was really strong. And there was a time when some haters, I think everybody has haters, and the haters used to say, oh, Yoga One is just a cult. And, it's just a very kind of like jealous way of saying that we have a strong culture. And I could see through, like, at first I was really offended that people calling my community a cult. But then I was like, well, I think underneath all of that is the recognition that our community is really strong and our culture is really strong, and we wanted it to be that way. So when I talk about that, I think it's important to come back to your higher purpose. What is your higher purpose? Why? What is your ultimate why? And there, if you remember, that was your pre-work before we even started this course. And I hope you did some soul searching, some internal work around what is your higher purpose, and can you identify it with a lot of clarity. So if anybody asked you what is your higher purpose, or in the older kind of language, what is your mission, you can say it quickly. Like it's so ingrained into every ounce of your business, every ounce of you, and every ounce of your business. Your team knows what you are about. Your clients know what it is. Like at Yoga One, our higher purpose, which was my purpose and my husband's purpose, was helping people live a happy, healthy, and inspired life. As soon as you walked into the studio, it was all over, like in the walls. It was on the internet, and all the websites. It was on social media. It was everywhere. Everybody knew that our higher purpose is helping people live a happy, healthy, and inspired life. And from there, it was really easy to do everything from mopping the floors and cleaning the toilets to having an incredibly effective and powerful sales process, to marketing, to HR, to developing and building our team. So again, what is your higher purpose? Because once you know your higher purpose, it will be easy for people to align with your higher purpose, and it will be easy for you to run your business, to run your team. I believe it's really, really important. And anticipating and meeting customer needs in a way that no one else does. So to me, it's important. Anticipating what your customer needs and wants is the key. And, for some of you are teaching 20, 25 classes a week right now. And like I said in the previous calls, whenever you are teaching so many classes, or you are up to your ears in working, just being in the trees, it's really difficult for you to see the entire forest. If you're working and doing things that somebody else can in your business, you literally have no bandwidth and no energy to think about strategy. You have no bandwidth to anticipate what's to come in your studio, in your business, in the industry. And, it's your job. It's your job as a leader. It's your job as an entrepreneur. It's your job as a business owner to anticipate and look down the road, to see, just to see down the road how future looks like. Look at your numbers, anticipate what's to come and what is going on in your business, right? To make really powerful brilliant decision making. So anticipating and meeting customer needs and wants in a way that nobody else does. It dwarfs your competition. It creates your community, your culture, and it creates massive customer loyalty. And this is actually the place where you want to be, right? If you as a leader want to be in your place of business, then people can feel it on a visceral level. This is what attracts people to you. When you're passionate, when you're connected to your higher purpose, when you're fulfilled, people can feel that. And that's ultimately, I truly believe this is what drives people to you. Clients, your yoga teachers, people on your team, this is what lights them up, and that's what makes them want to be around you. Another way of looking at it is providing massive value. You provide so much value that your customers can't help but tell everybody in their lives around your yoga studio. They invite their coworkers, they invite their family, they invite their friends. They're willing to talk to random strangers on the street about what an incredible community they found at your yoga studio. They love it so much. They tell everybody how much yoga changed their lives, how many friends they have at your yoga studio. Like, they love being there. Your customers, your existing customers, are your best marketing strategy. And when you provide so much value, it's important to provide it with a lot of love, enthusiasm, and excitement, right? And this is where not only you as a leader, you need to step up, but also you have to set aside time and energy and space to train your team and to truly connect with your team. That's why in this module, we talk about raving fans being your clients and your team. And I'm going to talk about all the ways that, some ideas that I can recommend for you. And ultimately, be creative, create your own culture, think of really amazing ways to create raving fans and to, what did I want to say? Like, create your amazing culture, express yourself, set aside time to create that and make it your number one priority. Reward your best customers. Your best customers deserve best offers and personalized communication. Now, I can, talk about basic human needs and what ultimately drives us. For some people, driving a really fancy car is what's important to them. For other people, living a really frugal, simple lifestyle, but being able to travel and have all these experiences, that's what's important to them. Do you know what I mean? So we all have, for some people, it's important to have variety. Like they like to, like if we were to talk about the yoga world, like some people go to hot yoga. They like a set sequence. They like to know what's to come. They like that consistency. Like they only do set sequence hot yoga. Other people like variety. They like to, try out vinyasa flow. They like Baptiste flow. They like Iyengar, hot yoga, rocket yoga, acro yoga, partner yoga. They like to try out many different things. And what's ultimately drives them is that need for variety, right? There are some people who will only go to the yoga studio where it's really expensive and really pristine and everything is really, really fancy, and they're willing to pay a premium for that. So your clients are the same way. And that's why I do believe that's important to know who your ideal client is and who is it that you want to attract, ultimately have in your life. So I'll give you an example. At Yoga One, we always had, every one of our 7 studios had 2 rooms. One room was set aside for hot yoga only. Those were the classes that are set sequence, that were, very similar to Bikram back in the day. People liked that. People wanted that. There was about 50% of our yogis who wanted that consistency every time, every time slot, it was the same. And then we threw in a few just different hot yoga classes. And then the second room was dedicated for those people who wanted variety, and we called it a flow yoga room. And that's where we had power flow classes, we had bhakti yoga, we had partner yoga, we had more variety in that other room. So so we wanted to kind of offer set sequence classes for the people who wanted stability, who did not like variety. And we also wanted to attract people who wanted a lot of variety in their lives. And ultimately, our ideal client, we wanted to make yoga affordable to everybody because we had a lot of space. We never had any sort of capacity issues. We wanted to make yoga affordable to everybody. And our pricing strategy reflected that. We also had a lot of free yoga opportunities for our volunteers. I'm going to talk about the subtleties around the volunteers. There are a lot of questions that come up in the yoga business world around employee versus independent contractor, or karma yogis, people who work in exchange for yoga. All of those are very important matters, and I'm going to talk about it in the last call, our 6 modules. So I'm kind of like jumping ahead, but I thought it was very important for me to mention that now. So your best customers, reward your most loyal clients. And those are the clients that you can call personally. Those are the clients that you offer some special deal, like before everybody else gets this deal, if we wanted to invite you to do this and that, or feature them in your monthly newsletter as a Yogi of the Month, or just give them print out special t-shirts for them, like the OGs, like the original gangsters of your community, and then just give it to them so that they can wear those t-shirts with a lot of pride. Remember, your most loyal clients is your best marketing strategy because they're going to tell everybody about your studio. Deliver more than you your promise. Surprise and delight them in adding value. What I can tell you guys, Raj and I, my husband and I, when we led our communities, we were very, very generous with everything that we offered. We offered a lot of free programming. Our pricing strategy, like our auto pay membership, was really, really inexpensive. Again, we gave people a lot of opportunity to volunteer in exchange for yoga because we wanted to make yoga affordable to everybody. Him and I, Raj and I, led a lot of workshops free of charge as leaders of the community, because in the end of the day, you know, my number one priority was to build a community, to create those loyal customers, people who like I personally touched their lives and touched their souls. Those are my clients for lifetime, right? And whatever they pay, if they pay $20 for that workshop, even if I have 100 people, it's literally what's more important to me, what's more valuable to me is creating raving fans, so that they're with me for 10 years, for 20 years. There are people who follow me around the world. They go to the other side of the world just to be with me, to be in my presence, to feel that sense of community. And these are the type of raving fans you want to create in your yoga studio. So again, as you think about your pricing strategy, as you think about your marketing, as you think about the programming that you offer, what is your ultimate purpose? What is your ultimate why you're doing this, right? And I truly believe that once you identify that, the money will come, the clients will come, and you have to do it in a very mindful way, right? You're not just randomly throwing programming out there. You're not just randomly working your butt, busting your butt around the clock. It needs to be like a strategy, right? Like, this is my goal. This is what I'm moving towards. And these are the things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I'm going to do to get there. Let's take a deep breath. Sometimes I get really excited and passionate about talking these things, and I want to stay focused on what I set out to talk about today, because I can talk for hours and hours about the higher purpose and the bigger strategy, and I think we need to follow the structure. Continually better serve your clients you already have. This is your best return on your investment. Like I said, and I'm going to repeat it over and over to you guys, it's so much easier to retain a client who's already walked into the door rather than attract a client through marketing, whatever else you do, advertising, to get people to come to your yoga studio. So once a person comes into your yoga studio, it's exponentially easier to retain them rather than bring a new client into the door. Just take my word for it. I have lots of data to show you to prove this point. You can run tons of different reports through your software to see that to be true. So we'll talk about like the entire mapping out of the process. I call it a sales process. You can call it retention process. You can call it a process of helping people live a happy, healthy, and inspired life. Whatever you want to call it, you have to have a very specific, I call it a plan for what's next for the people who step their foot into the yoga studio. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Let me just give you a big overview, and I'm going to talk about the specifics and the practical tools of doing it down the road in this call. Ask questions, listen. Like I said earlier, a lot of people used to tell me they want this type of classes or they want this type of classes. And I used to be very inflexible. I was like, that's not real yoga. This is not what Yoga One is about. I was so freaking uptight and judgmental, and I wasn't listening to what my community was telling me. Thank God I stepped out of it. I grew out of that phase. And ultimately, you don't want to, there's also that extreme, right when I was like, this is not real yoga, this is not what Yoga One is about. But then also there is like this other extreme where when we first opened up, people used to be like, oh, the hot yoga wasn't hot enough. And then I'd crank up the heat, and then it'd be like, oh, that was too hot. It was unbearably hot. And then I'd turn down the temperature. And I could never, ever please anybody because I was trying to do everything that my client wanted me to do. And then at some point we came to this healthy medium where Like, this is a set temperature for the hot class. This is how we teach yoga. This is our set sequence. This is what happens in the floor room. We have variety there. Like, we had to come up with our own ground rules. And at the same time, there was a lot of flexibility in that. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like do whatever the latest fitness craze is, but it also doesn't have to be the place where you're like, this is not what yoga is truly about. I think there is some healthy golden kind of medium where you do a little bit of both, right? You listen, you ask questions, listen to for what your community is asking you, but at the same time, you know, decide what is it that you're going to offer, and then give it some time to measure the effectiveness of your steps, right? In the middle, it's like yin and yang, right? Like we talk about it in yoga. It's strength and flexibility, right? It's great work and grace at the same time. So it's balancing all these things, and we're constantly searching for that magical place where all the miracles happen. It's somewhere in between. Be transparent. And what I mean by that is, you know, be easily accessible for your community, and also talk about what it is that you're, you know, what your intention is. So Roger and I would often have Facebook Live events, especially like, let's say there was a big hurricane. You know, we had Hurricane Harvey a couple of years ago, and we had Facebook Live sessions where we'd answer people's questions like, this is what happened after the hurricane. You know, we didn't, the yoga studios were closed for 2 weeks. Our yoga teachers, when they don't teach yoga, they don't get paid. Like, unlike other people who are on full-time salary, they get paid no matter what. And this is how we're like, look, a lot of people, teaching yoga is their only livelihood, and we're trying to raise funds. If you know, have any capacity of donating some money, please do. And we sat down and we were very transparent, like, this is what's going on. We did not generate funds because the studio was closed for 2 weeks. We don't have a capacity to pay our teachers because, hey, the studios were closed for 2 weeks. But if you want to step up and donate some money so we can pay our teachers, this is the process how we're gonna distribute the funds, blah, blah, blah. So then people donated. I mean, we raised a lot of money through that process, and we paid our teachers. It was a very open, transparent process. And it was a really great experience for all of us as a result. And I truly believe that it made our community stronger. Be transparent. Like, so when we sold Yoga One, you know, and there was this transition between the time, you know, the studio was sold and the new owners, and there were lots of questions. So Roger and I was like, okay, this is Facebook Live. You know, this is an opportunity for you to ask any questions. This is what our intention is. This is what we should probably expect. Like, this is what's going to stay the same. This is what's going to change. So in other words, people really appreciate when you are open and vulnerable, and you say like, hey, look, I'm not perfect, but this is what my intention is. If you know a better way, please share with me, because I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn. You know, I always tell the story when we had a potential partner in one of our 7 studios, and then she bailed on us and she stepped out, and we were left with this massive construction bill, and we thought we were in the brink of bankruptcy. Like, we didn't know what to do, and we just opened up and say, hey, look, this is what happened. We're really short on cash right now. You know, we're thinking about like filing for bankruptcy. It's this hard. We don't know how to pay the bills. So like, let us all, we did it for our team, right? For our employees, like, let's put our heads together. Like, please, we need your help. What can we do? And a lot of people stepped up, and just energetically, the fact that they stepped up and they said like, look, we're here for you. Whatever we need to do, we're here. And even if they didn't do anything in practice, energetically, that was a huge support system for us. So what I'm saying is, be as transparent as possible as you lead your business. Communicate openly, be vulnerable if you need to. people communicate with your community, communicate with your team, and make it very transparent, make it very easy. And then lastly, give back in many ways, and especially in this day and age, give back in many ways. So we would often have special classes where we're raising money for this charitable organization or that charitable organization. So I'm going to talk about community events on this call a little bit later, but a lot of times, we have a 21-day Love Revolution program based on the book that my husband wrote, and then would say, and I'll talk about the details about how we execute it, because execution is really, really important. So at some point would say, hey, the program is free, but if you want to, let's say, buy this special t-shirt that says Love Revolution, the inaugural program, 21 days to create the life that you love. If you buy this t-shirt for $35, $5 of those funds will go to support X, Y, and Z. Or would have a big event at the soccer stadium, like a BBVA stadium in Houston where the Houston Dynamos played. We say the ticket is $25. $5 from every ticket sold goes to support Empowered by One Significant Act, a charitable organization that we founded together with our friends that bring yoga to schools, or something like that. And this is really great, you guys. I need you to listen to this. This is not just, yes, it's really great to raise funds to help, all these charitable organizations, or raise funds to help people in need. What I'm saying it from the business standpoint, it's really, really valuable because it creates culture. It shows people that you truly care. And in the end of the day, it's going to help you generate more revenue. I mean, I truly believe it has to be win-win-win for everybody. You also need to make money along the way too. Do you know what I mean? It's not just all charity. It has to be done in such a way where you generate funds as well. You create community. It's free marketing and things like that. Ooh, let me take a deep breath. Guys, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat window and I'm going to answer them. I don't know if I'm going too fast. If there is something that I'm not making sense, please reach out and ask the questions. So as you think about your programming, also think of opportunities to support other local businesses or charitable organizations that you care about, and then be transparent about that. Right? Tell people that a portion of this funds go towards X, Y, and Z. A lot of times, people will buy a ticket even if they cannot go to the event because they want to support you, they want to support your community, and they want to support that charitable organization that you're so passionate about. So I talked a lot about this theory, right? How do we create raving fans within our customers and our team? So let's talk about how does it look like in reality? You guys, I come from the Soviet Union, so I'm very, very practical. Even though I'm a very spiritual person, but I'm also very practical. I'm these are all really great things. Show me the money. Show me how to do it, how to implement it in real world. So here it is. Prioritize your raving fans, your community. How do you prioritize your community? So I truly believe that my, Yoga One, the yoga studios that I owned, was so successful because we had such an incredible community. And that community didn't just happen overnight. That community of thousands and thousands of yogis came to exist because Roger and I very consciously, very mindfully, and very deliberately decided our number one priority is our community, because we want to be surrounded by the people that we love, the people who inspire us, the people that we want to spend time with, our family. And honestly, our community was thousands and thousands of yogis, so big that we could support 7 yoga studios. We could support a juice bar. We could support an online platform, open a retreat center in Taos, New Mexico. It's really beautiful. So one of the ways to build community, and I'm going to do my best to tie it all together because all of this is interrelated. It's not just one or the other. All of these things that I talk about are interrelated. And I hope I'm making it clear or easy enough to follow for you guys to see how all these pieces are interrelated. So community events. We decided, I think it was, I don't even remember when, but years ago, we decided that we're going to offer community events. And I'll be very honest with you guys. I'm opening my kimono, so to speak. Essentially, or initially, we decided to offer these free community events as a special perk for our auto-pay members. Listen up, you guys. I'm going to tell you how this progression happened so that you don't have to spend 5 years like me creating community events that were hugely successful. You can just get there from your very first event. Initially, we started doing these free community events to offer an incredible perk for auto-pay. We said, if you do these community events with us, they're incredibly fun, they're life-changing, and you're our auto-pay member, you can come for free. So we wanted to create those events so we can see a higher conversion and build our auto-pay base, which we did. It became 70% of our revenues, which is a really, really great number. So what is a community event? It's an event that is free for auto-pay members, and maybe a small fee for others. There's a lot of room to wiggle room there, and I'm gonna offer like a special training coming out like on October 15th when I'll tell you like these are 3 ways how you can do community events. I'll tell you how we did it. So for years we did 40 Days to Personal Revolution event. I think we did it twice a year. It's based on Baron Baptiste's book, 40 Days to Personal Revolution. It was a free programming. We had the largest one we had was close to 2,000 people. We had to rent out a music venue, like, you know, where rock stars rock out, a music, the Verizon Center, I think it's called, or something like that. We rented it out to have our kick-out event at that space. It was that big. And even though the programming, the 40 days program was free, people still paid for their yoga classes, right? As part of those community events, we usually offered workshops. That was an opportunity. There were also free workshops. It was an opportunity for our team to express themselves and teach something that lights them up and inspires them outside of their just regular classes. So the workshops were between 90 minutes to 2 hours. So, and we encouraged like anything from manifesting your dreams to yoga nidra, to yoga sutras, to partner yoga, like anything that we didn't normally offer in our class schedule. This was an opportunity for our yoga teachers to step up and do. And a lot of people did it even though they didn't get paid for that. They just wanted to be a part of this incredible community event. I mean, you got to think about it. When your yoga studio rents out an entire Verizon Center to freaking host a yoga event, a kickoff meeting for 2,000 people, like people are proud to be a part of that event. You know what I mean? Then we switched. Then Roger was like, 40 days is too long. 70% of people drop out after week 2. 40 days is way too long. It's too big of a commitment. Then Roger wrote a book called Love Revolution, 21 Days to Create the Life You Love. And that was a book written specifically to have these community events. It's a 21-day program. We had 1,500 people last time we did it. It was very similar. We offered free workshops. Even though the program itself was free, the people paid for the yoga. In addition to that, eventually we started coming out with like special themed retail, right? 21-day Love Revolution t-shirt, 2017 edition. You know, Love Revolution t-shirt, 2016 edition. And people were crazy about this. You know, they collected those t-shirts because they knew that we have these programs at least twice a year, too big, you know, and I'm kind of going like too fast. I'm going too fast for myself. Let me slow down. We scheduled these events to counteract the seasonality of our business. Like I talked to you on, I think one of the calls that I did, that your business is very seasonal, right? You have a New Year's rush, and then from January it goes down, down, down. It's a bigger dip in summer because people travel, it's too hot, they take vacations. Then you go down, down, down. It goes even more down around Christmas because people go shopping, there are holiday parties, et cetera, et cetera. So the business is very seasonal, right? So let me tell you guys, once we scheduled and powerfully executed our community events, we had our highest attendance in the month of July because we brilliantly executed, whatever program we had then, 21 Love Revolution or Rainbow Road or like all these programs. Or we'd have another spike in November where historically it's a really, really slow month. We'd have a special programming during the time when the attendance usually dips down, and it'd be a huge success, and our revenues would go up, because when your attendance goes up, your revenue will always go up. And then we started like coming out with the retail product, the special t-shirt, the special caps, and people were crazy about that. They loved being a part of our community. They loved collecting the t-shirts. It made them feel like, look, I've done this program 10 times. I'm like the OG here. Like, this is my community. This is my hood type of thing. So ultimately, these community events, they cultivate strong, raving, fan-centered culture. This is what ultimately becomes who you are, your community. This is a life-changing programs for all of your, not only for your like yogis, but also for your team. This is what makes people want to do your teacher trainings. This is what makes people want to be on your schedule. This is what makes people like go to your yoga studio and never go to anybody else, because you're dwarfing your competition because you're so incredible. Do you know what I mean? It creates a curriculum for growth. I'll tell you guys, we had teacher training 3 times a year. Every teacher training was 50 people. People paid between $2,500 to $3,000 for our teacher training. You do the math. These are just the main teacher trainings that we did, because ultimately it's all, I hope you can see it, how it's all fitting in together, right? Number 1, community events, free community events, special for auto-pay members. Auto-pay conversions will go through the roof. Community events to counteract seasonality. Yes, in the month that traditional attendance goes down, you have a community event that your attendance goes up, your revenues go exponentially up. Community events to sell retail. Yes, if you do really cute, high quality stuff, people will buy it like crazy. And ultimately, these community events fed our what's next plan, because whatever we do, we always focus on what's next, and would always communicate it very clearly. Hey, if you love the 21-day program, Love Revolution, hey, if you loved 40 Days to Personal Revolution program, and your life you're feeling better as a result of it, you feel great in your skin, you're not as stressed out, you're actually a whole life changed. And if you're wondering what's next, come and do our teacher training, come and do our retreat, come and do our seminar. So it was always what's next. Do you know what I mean? So we did our teacher trainings not because it was a big chunk of our revenues, but it wasn't the biggest chunk. I know yoga studio owners who the only way they survive is because they have the teacher trainings. We generated massive revenue through our teacher trainings, but it wasn't the number 1 reason why we did it. We did our teacher trainings so that we can create a community, so that we can train the people who are aligned with us 100% on our higher purpose, helping people live a happy, healthy, and inspired life, on our core purpose, on our core values. And this is who we hire from. This pool of people we hire from our teacher training courses. Not only our yoga teachers, but also, our marketing director, our HR director, our director of teachers, our retail director, our, operations team in every yoga studio. They came from our teacher trainings. Because just do the math. If we graduate between 100 to 150 people from teacher trainings every year, we cannot possibly hire all of them. So we get to pick the superstars, and invite them to be a part of our team. Let's take a deep breath. I hope it all makes sense, how it's all interrelated. All of these pieces are connected with each other. And if you do an amazing job coming up with a clear strategy, this is my goal, this is what I'm about. Not only that, but if you're really masterful at executing everything that you set out to do, you have no choice but quantum leap to the next level, whatever that next level is for you. And I'm here to help you get there. Okay. So prioritize raving fans. When I'm also talking about clients at the moment, personal phone calls and text messages. I'm going to talk about the sales process in the next few slides, but I'll tell you that every single person on my team made those personal phone calls, including me and Roger. I'll talk about the phone calls later. Text messages these days, you can totally automate it through your software. You don't have to personally text message, but I'll tell you, I'm a freak, and I'm not like ashamed of that. I'm a freak, and I take it to the next level. Whatever I do, I take it to the next level. I would personally text everybody. I would, like, people who my loyal clients, I would just text them. I'd be like, hey, this is Albina from Yoga One. Come to my class. I missed you. How are you? I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Is everything okay? Like, I would do that. And I truly believe that it means a lot to people. And I'm not doing it so that I can sell that auto-pay membership. I'm doing it because I care about these people. I care about my community. And because my intention is pure, like, I genuinely want this person to come to class and experience and be a part of this fun experience where we connect and we create community and we just feel amazing. It doesn't feel salesy, because my ultimate goal is not to sell them stuff. It's not like whatever $30 for a workshop. It's about, like, I want to jam with you. I want to have fun with you. I want to experience this together with you. I know it's going to be incredible. That's why I invite you. That's why I text you. That's why I call you. Do you hear the difference? If you internally, you're feeling like, hey, I'm just sending this text message, or I'm sending this newsletter, I'm making this Instagram post, and it feels like on the inside, it feels like you're salesy to you, or you have some sort of internal conflict around that, like you're concerned about what other people will think, like, it will, trust me, the energy of that vibration will attract that same kind of energy. And the energy of, like, hey, I want to jam with you, I want to have fun with you, this is going to be incredible, this has changed my life, and I'm offering it to you because I know it's going to change your life and it's going to be incredible, then you attract that same kind of vibration, people. Let's take a deep breath. I feel myself getting so excited and so, like, I'm even hot physically, because I love talking about this. Like, I know this stuff works, and I want you to do it, and I want you to do it really an amazing job. I want you to kick ass in this, because you can. And I'm going to teach you how. You just listen, do, and succeed. I'm going to tell you exactly what works. Just do it. Okay. Okay, your personal connection with your community. You are the leader. I truly and honestly believe, you guys, you have to step up as a leader of your community. You have to fully embody that role. That means, like, you show your face. You show your face. Like, we had 7 studios. They're all over, all over Houston. I mean, to get to one studio sometimes would take like freaking 3 hours of our day just to drive there, an hour and a half, drive back an hour and a half. But we would take our butts to all the studios, would show our faces. We would, like, have a special class with Roger and Albina. And, like, I would freaking text everybody to come from that local community, and would go there once a week, once every 2 weeks, because it was important for us to be there personally as a leader, to connect with our community, to lead all these programming. Every single massive program that we've ever had, Roger and Albina led it. Every single teacher training, even though, like, we're super busy, we have kids, we have volunteering, like, we have 12 businesses to run, we still led every single teacher training, because it was important to us to communicate on every single level what we are up to, what is our higher purpose, what is our core values. And ultimately, you, like, yes, your team is the face of your business, but you as a creator, as a leader, you are the leader. You need to step it up, you need to embody it, and you need to, like, you just gotta, like, you gotta step up and be there and do what is required for you to do, that you want to do. If you're connected to your passion, that you want to do. And I truly believe this is when your business becomes a success. And then maybe in some businesses it doesn't necessarily apply, but in a yoga business, guys, this is a must. yogis are a different kind of animal altogether. They're all spiritual. They feel the energy. They feel it all. Like, they feel it. So if you're passionate, if you show up, people can feel it. This is what draws them to you. This is what takes your business to the next level. Innovation around programming, new classes, trainings, events, and experience. This is my number one priority. So every year, Raja and I, and even now when we don't have our yoga studios, every year we have ski and yoga retreat in our retreat center in Taos, New Mexico. And as part of that retreat, I always lead a vision meditation. And I think I told you guys, like, even Selling Yoga One came to me as a vision meditation. In my vision meditation, not only do I like set aside time, energy, space, and intention to create, something new, innovation, but also it's a process of listening to that divine guidance. And Selling Yoga One literally came from outside of me, you guys. To me and Roger separately and individually, we heard that it was time for us to move. So every year, we led the skin yoga retreat every year in Taos. Every year would come up, oh, this new programming, and every year we implemented at least one new thing. So I'll tell you another interesting story. So I was like all uptight about like, this is not real yoga. And but in my prior life, I used to be a freaking aerobics teacher. I love step aerobics. In the 90s, I was like the step aerobics superstar. I taught step aerobics. So my husband, like, he knows me, and he's like, "Oh, honey, I heard of this really incredible studio in Las Vegas," and he knows how to get me to. He's like, "They make X amount of revenues a month." I was like, "What?" They made like 10 times more of what we did. Like, we had at the time, I think 3 studios. They had 1 studio and their monthly revenues were 10 times of what we made. I was like, my ears perked up. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, the studio in Las Vegas, their monthly revenue, I don't even remember how much they made, but a lot. Enough to catch my attention. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, they have this class where it's like a heated room and it's like yoga, but also like aerobics and loud music and the weights. I was like, what? That's not real yoga. And he was like, their revenues are 10 times of what yours are. And I'm like, I'm getting my ass to the next flight to Las Vegas. And I did. I packed up and took my ass to Las Vegas. I went there 3 times to be in that studio. And the owner was really cool. He like opened up his kimono and told me like, actually a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you here on this call is the things that the guy told me. So anyway, their class was in a hot yoga room, humidity and all. They did a fusion class of aerobics, like I think they called it hot Pilates, weights and yoga. And I love that shit. Pardon me. I loved it. It was loud music. I'm like, I connected to my 90s aerobics instructor. So anyway, I worked my butt creating a new program at Yoga One. We called it Hot Core. And eventually we developed into hardcore cardio, hardcore weights, and hardcore bar. We installed bars in some of our yoga studios. Let me tell you guys, our clientele, our client base grew at least 50%. I couldn't even believe it. There were people who were coming to Yoga One just for the hardcore classes. These people never even stepped their foot into a yoga class. They only went to hardcore classes, hardcore bar, hardcore cardio, and hardcore weights. And like, we did the teacher training around that, and that was additional revenues. That, like, our team was super inspired and lit up to try something new. So anyway, what I'm saying is like constant innovation around programming. Once I got off my like, this is not true yoga, like once I became more flexible, once I connected to what I loved about it, like everything changed. Like all of a sudden I was like, I'm kind of getting bored with the yoga classes that I teach. I love hot yoga. I love loud music. So I came up with this class. What did I call it? I forgot what I called it. Oh. I can't believe I forgot the name of my class that I loved so much. Supersonic. I called it supersonic. I'll tell you. Let me stop first. Okay. So then you always connect with what you love, right? So then I told you we had hot yoga, right? It was always set sequence. Then I was like, I'm so busy. I work all the time. I work like from 5 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock at night. Like I don't have time to do yoga. So then I was like, I'm going to come up with a new class called Sonic Hot. And in the Sonic Hot class, you play music, you give limited instructions, and you practice with your students. I came up with that class back in the day. I don't even know when, mainly because I wanted to practice yoga, and practicing yoga in silence was kind of weird. So, and then I was so out of breath to like teach a regular class. So I came up with this class called Sonic Hot. It's exploded. It was so popular. I had to do a teacher training on that, train my team how to teach it. It was hugely successful. Then I was like, okay, I'm getting bored with Sonic Hot. It's like freaking the same sequence. Like I'm done with it. Like as you evolve, your offerings will also change. And I said, oh, I'm gonna offer supersonic. And what I love is like really loud music, but I also love like more advanced poses. You know, my background is forest yoga. I'm gonna bring forest yoga into the hot room. Don't tell Anna Forrest I did it. I called it supersonic. Only I could teach it because it was a more advanced class, but that class exploded. Do you know what I mean? So constantly innovate, innovation, innovation. You know, we had classes where like we all would dress up like in the 80s or whatever, you know, super glow, would like tape up the windows with black paper, turn on disco lights. We had classes where I also love dancing, like Zumba classes. And I was like, how can I bring Zumba to Yoga One? So I said, once a month, we're going to call it, what did we call? We call it like Wake Up and Smell the Community classes or something silly like that. But like once a month at 6 o'clock in the morning, we'd have this fusion class. I invited another teacher. She was an incredible Zumba teacher. So we did 30 minutes of Zumba, 30 minutes of yoga. And then when like we had a juice bar, so in the morning we'd brew some coffee and sell a crap ton of juices as well. So that was a lot of fun. So I'm just giving you examples, you guys. Constant innovation about your programming is important because people, no matter how much they love you, we tend to get bored. That's what like even your marriage, you gotta spice it up sometimes, right? So spice up your yoga business too. Bring up some new stuff. Constantly think about the new stuff. And what I did, you guys, because I was so busy, I would literally go somewhere to take myself out of the everyday stuff to think up the strategy, to think up innovation, to think up what I can do, because it's very hard to do it when your kids are yelling, when you got to go and teach 50 classes a week. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we had our skin yoga retreat. That was space for that. I led a lot of retreats like that, just with specific purpose to like, for me, myself, and to whomever I was leading to step into that place of co-creation with the universe, that place of innovation, that place where you sit down and think strategy. I don't know if this is something that is interesting to you guys. Our next ski and yoga retreat is going to be in early January of 2020. And also in May, I am partnering up with my dear friend Justine Panaroff. Some of you may know her. We're going to lead a retreat for women called Beauty and Brains. This is a retreat for business women only, or for, let's say it like this. This is a retreat for women who are all about business. They're hustlers. This is for women entrepreneurs, or women who also have a career. This is a time where we talk business, we talk spirituality, we talk about stepping up and co-creating with the universe. Shameless plug. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Okay, so let's talk about prioritizing your team, because your team is your raving fans as well. I'm just looking at the time. Your team are you're also your raving fans. And I'll tell you, Roger and I have always said it is only with the help of our team could we do what we did. It is only with the help of our team we could expand to 7 locations, have retreat center, do all these amazing work in the world. When your team is inspired, is lit up, is empowered, is fully connected with you, they will help you get to places beyond your wildest dreams. Only with your team. You cannot do it on your own. So let me give you some ideas on how you can create a raving fans culture within your team. Let me move this thing around because it's kind of getting on my nerves. Hold on 1 second. Oh, look, awesome, cool. Okay, let's take a deep breath, guys. Okay, so mandatory team meetings. I know it sounds like awful, right? Mandatory team meetings. We call them all hands on board meetings. And you have to imagine, like at some point we had 150 employees. 100 to get 150 people into one place was not an easy task, but we always had all hands on deck meetings twice a year, because we paid them for their time. When we told them 6 months in advance that this is the time when we had these meetings, but we it was very important for us that everybody showed up. This is what would connect as a team, would do something really fun with them, and we'll talk about the vision of the company, what's to come, what we have accomplished. And it's an opportunity for our team to connect personally with Roger and Albina. Now, with a team of 150 people, even though with my leadership team, I saw them every single week, with my teachers at 7 locations, sometimes I didn't see them. I only saw them at these mandatory team meetings. And also, it's very clear, it becomes very clear who are the people in your team who are not aligned with you. And so if you say you're going to have mandatory team meetings twice a year, and you give them a notice 6 months in advance, you pay for that, their time and stuff, and you make it fun, and people don't show up, we had very strict rules. If you miss 2 meetings, you're gone. Because we said there will be no weeds in my garden. There will be no weeds in my garden. I will only take people who are 100% committed with me. I know for some of you it may sound like a really, really hard thing to swallow, but I also always say 99% equals 0. I used to think that if a person is 99% committed and they still do a great job, I can work with that. That's not true, because imagine what is possible when everybody on your team is 100% committed to your mission, to your vision. You'll become unstoppable. So it is my deepest belief as an owner, as a leader of my businesses, there will be no weeds in my garden. And as soon as I see that weed, sometimes it's really hard to rip that out. I do it. And if I hesitate and I delay, every single time, you guys, when I look back, I always say, I should have done it sooner. I should have done it sooner. I should have bit the bullet, or whatever they say in English, and I should have done it sooner. Okay, so we also had star summits for my leadership team. So some of your studios are small, so your teams are small, and when you have a small team, it's actually really cool because it can be a lot more intimate, right? It's much easier to gather up 10 people than it is to gather up 150 people. So for our Star Summit, we did separate events. This is our leadership team, about 10, 15 people. We always took them, once we had our retreat center in Taos, we paid for them to fly to Taos. We did a lot of fun stuff there with them, team building activities, hiking, roasting marshmallows by the fire, sitting in a hot tub. But this was a time for us to create strategy, for all of us to create strategy. And that's when we did our blue sky meetings, where, you imagine like anything is possible, and there is not a stupid idea. And we just literally it's like a gunfire of ideas. And we sometimes would say silly things like bring yoga to the moon and stuff, but it was kind of funny. But we said there is no stupid ideas, and would literally get into this magical place, this vibration where ideas were coming to us. And it's not just Roger and Albina coming up with ideas, but when you get a team of 15 people coming with ideas, then out of that big pool of ideas, you always come up with 2 or 3 that are really, really amazing. And a lot of our innovation, new programming, new teacher trainings, new events, new experiences came out of the Star Summits, out of mandatory team meetings. It was like really great way for us to build a community, to build a team, and also focus on innovation. And also, whenever your idea gets implemented, people felt a lot of sense of ownership, like, hey, they listened to my idea, this is my idea. And that in turn helped, they talked about it, they were just more committed. Do you know what I mean? So do that. If you have a smaller team, I say you have to have all hands on board meeting at least once 6 months, and you can call it a sweat date. So it can be like, a lot of times I would lead a yoga class. A lot of times Roger would do yoga class at one of our studios. We call it a sweat date. But a lot of times we also said, hey, we're going to go to the spin class at some other place in town. And I would contact the owner of that business and say, hey, I have a team building activity. I'm going to bring a group of 5 of us to come to your spin class. Always go to the owner's class if possible. Let them know in advance. A lot of times they'll give you a discount or maybe even free class. But it does a few things. First of all, when you do a sweat date, you do something new, something different, right? You build community, you connect with your team, but also you get a scoop on what's going on in town, right? You get a scoop, like what's the latest craze in the fitness industry. And what I'm telling you, it's important to know what's going on in the fitness industry in your town. So do a sweat day, go to check out that Soul Cycle studio, go check out that new CrossFit gym, bring a team with you so it's fun, tell the owner in advance, work out a deal. You can always work out a deal, say, hey, I'll bring my people, I'll tell my people about your studio, give them 30% discount. And if you tell your people about my yoga studio, I'll give them 30% discount. So we had those partnerships going on with a lot of local fitness studios in town. And that also helps you. That's marketing, right? It brings new clients into the door. It's connecting with other communities. It's going local, all those incredible things. Okay, let's take a deep breath. We also get get-togethers for our team and customers. So let's say, for example, I'm going to my Kingwood studio. It's an hour and a half to get there from where I live. So I'd advertise and say, hey, next Tuesday, I'm going to Kingwood. All my Kingwood peeps come, hang out with me, take my class. After class, we're going to go and do a Taco Tuesday at the local taco restaurant. Everybody invited. Now, you don't have to pay for everybody, but people would come. People love connecting with you. Remember, you are the heart and soul of your business. You are the heart and soul of your yoga studio. So people want to be in your presence. You got to own it fully. You got to embody that. Give people an opportunity to hang out with you. On Saturdays, I taught at my Bel Air studio. I said on all over social media, hey, I'm teaching on Saturday my usual hardcore cardio class on Saturday morning. Afterwards, we're going to go to Chinatown and eat ethnic food, Chinese food. And a lot of people came, mainly because I wanted to eat Chinese food. Big community events, you may not be big enough for that, but at some point, like if you set a goal right now that you're going to teach a yoga class at the football stadium or a basketball arena, you can set that goal right now. And once you set your goal with clarity, all the forces of the universe are going to conspire and make it happen. So we talk big community events. We had an annual BBVA stadium. It's a soccer stadium in Houston class. We had, I led a class with the Houston Texans, the football team. We had classes once a year, like as part of the community event. We always had a celebration class at the public parks. We had parking lot party. You have to coordinate it with your landlord, but you do something to give people an opportunity to celebrate. When you have those celebration parties, usually at the end of the community event, remember what I talked about, 21-day program, 40-day program, have us the big celebration party at the end. Invite local businesses, ice cream shops, taco trucks, massage people, anybody that is like in the health and wellness industry with you, invite them to come for free. And it's cross promotion for them. It's a win-win-win for everybody. It's an opportunity for people to celebrate. It's an opportunity for other businesses to cross promote their services. It's something fun for your community. And people are usually proud to be of something, such a big, fun, exciting event. So again, once again, always innovate. always think and anticipate what's to come. And like, again, if you're teaching 25 classes a week, you're physically not capable. You're not even, you don't even have a bandwidth for that. So set aside time to do that. And of course, your own teacher trainings. I already talked about that. Your teacher trainings is where you pull all of your potential employees from. You know, we hired exclusively, I'd say 99.999% out of our teacher trainings. Hey, because if I spend 10 days with you, I know you. If I spend from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night for 10 days in a row, I know you. I know what makes you click. I know you. Like, I know it because this is what I do for a living. I read people. So you know, obviously our intention is to help people transform their lives and become a better version of themselves. And at the same time, I'm always looking for the people that I'm going to hire next to become a part of my team. And eventually, when your community is so awesome, is so vibrant, everybody will want to be a part of your community. Everybody will want to be a part of your team. I mean, our wait list to be on the classes was incredibly long. We had this lengthy process of selection, like you had to do X, Y, and Z, like all these things to even get a class on the schedule at Yoga One. But you want it to be that way. You know, it's your community, it's your baby. You want it to be amazing. And your yoga teachers are ultimately the face of your studio. So what I'm saying is, if it's at all possible, train them yourself. Also, I would also say we always hired ourselves too. I still hire, like at my hotel, I do all the hiring. I meet with people face to face or do FaceTime, but I'm going to hire people on my team. At Yoga One, we had 7 studios. We hired everybody ourselves. You know, it was that important for us. Like it would be a front desk person, would bring our butts, set aside time to interview 15 people for that position because it was that important to us. Handpick, personally connect with every person on your team. Maybe at some point you'll get so huge that it's going to be humanly impossible, but I'll tell you, with 7 studios, it is possible. 7 studios in a juice bar in a hotel, a retreat center, it is possible. So if I can do it, you can do it too. And I do believe that was one of the reasons why Yoga One was so successful. We connected with everybody. Let's take a deep breath. Sit up tall, move your shoulders a little bit, maybe stretch out a little bit. Yeah, so this is kind of like, I left the most important part to the end, and we have 15 minutes left, so I'm going to talk a little bit fast, but this is very, very important. So I need you to perk up your ears and listen very carefully. All this stuff that I talked about, all this amazing stuff that I just talked about for almost an hour and a half, it's nothing. It ain't going to work until you have a correct pricing strategy. We talked about pricing strategy 2 calls ago. We talked about KPIs, the numbers on the last call, because it's that important. Correct pricing strategy is important. And you have to be able to measure all these magic that you're doing with numbers. You cannot just go off of your gut feeling. That's why I put KPIs before this magic that I'm sharing with you today. So let's talk about powerful pricing strategy really quickly. This was just a review. We talked about an intro special. Ideally, it's 30 days long. If you don't have an intro special, you need to come up with that. And then you got to offer an irresistible offer, or your auto pay membership. And then ideally you want people to go towards your irresistible offer right away. Or if they're not committal, get them to buy something, a class pass at your studio. And ultimately, if you have a thought out sales process, it will tell you everything about your marketing, the emails, phone calls, how effective your marketing collateral is, like the posters at the studio, your social media posts, how you're building your community, signage, all of that, like the website, how easy it is for the clients to purchase it. All of these ingredients go into a really powerful pricing strategy. And every single aspect of what I just mentioned is a big part of your sales strategy. And it needs to be executed really powerfully in order for you to have outstanding results. All of it. Marketing, emails, phone calls, social media, website, signage at the studio, right? You know, the posters, the menu bar, the training of your team. I need to add this to the slide. how effectively have you trained your team? How effectively have you empowered your team to be a representative of your business? Okay, let's take a deep breath. This is probably the most important thing out of this whole presentation, and I don't know why, but this has just moved a little bit. I'm going to fix it before I share it with you guys. But do you have a clear sales process? Probably not. I didn't have a very clear sales process until I learned it from the trainings that I've attended. I'm actually, did I tell you guys that I'm a certified mind-body consultant? I'm not pushing to sell mind-body. I promise you, I don't get any commission from that. But I did get a training, a certification with mind-body because they know everything about the industry, and I wanted to know everything that they know. And also a big part of it, I learned it from that guy who owns that hugely successful yoga studio in Las Vegas. Sadly, I think that studio no longer exists, or something happened there that didn't work out, but I know they were very, very successful in terms of money, in terms of revenues. I don't know about their community, but a big part of what I learned from that guy, I've implemented into my business right away. It was hugely successful. This is why I'm sharing it with you. So let's take a deep breath. This is really, really important. Stretch it out, jump up, and do jumping jacks if you need to, because this is the goal that I'm sharing with you. A clear sales process. If you don't have it, map it out. This is what we had at Yoga One. This is what I highly, highly encourage you to have. There will be some instances where you need to tweak it for your specific needs. Like I know some of you have a yoga studio in the places where it's mostly tourists. So we need to tweak it a little bit. But nevertheless, you must have a very clear sales process. You need to be very clear around it, and you have to train your team around it. So this is what we had at Yoga One. This is what I recommend. Day one, your Yogi Buys intro special. All that drop-in crap, you don't want that. Your pricing strategy needs to reflect that. Your cheapest option needs to be your intro special. Remember how I said like our drop-in was like 20 and 25 bucks, but our intro special was 30 days for $30. It needs to be a no-brainer, unlimited yoga for 30 days. Get them to buy that. I talked about it in the last call, but I repeat it again. Intro special is your best marketing. It's when your people will come and check out as many classes as you can. You have it for 30 days. Yes, 30 days. So that you have enough time to do this whole mapped out process, and it needs to happen in certain sequence, you guys. Let me just talk about it, and I'll talk about it a little bit more. So on that day one, when Yogi buys an intro special, or anything for that matter, they need to receive a welcome email. You can set it up very easily through the software that you're using. If you're using MindBody, it's really easy. So a welcome email needs to go like, hi, John, welcome to whatever yoga studio. I hope you had a great experience as your first class. Bring to class yoga mat, towel, water. If you don't have it, you can rent it, blah, blah, blah. Arrive 15 minutes early. I don't know what you want to put in there. Don't wear perfume, whatever. So welcome email. Your front desk needs to, and your whole team, this is why training your team is really important. From the front desk to the yoga teachers, everybody needs to welcome that person and make them feel welcome. Now remember, a lot of times people are coming to yoga studio for the first time, they're intimidated. You got to remember that. Your team needs to remember that. Make them feel welcome. In MindBody or whatever software you use, you can put a special sign, like we had it, like a green star, I think, to mark the new people. So as you're checking people in, you can see who's on the intro special, and you can tell, the front desk can tell the teacher, hey, shower this person with extra love because they're new, right? And you train your team. This is a new person. Go talk to them, connect with them, ask them if they have any questions, just give them extra adjustments, just make them feel welcome. Also, this day and age, I recommend setting up a welcome text messages. I think you can also set it up automatic. There are many services that will do it. MindBody has a partner program that can set up the text messages for you as well. During that first week, you encourage your yogi to take as many classes as possible. During that first week, it's important to follow up with a phone call. The timing of it is extremely important, you guys. That's why I keep repeating myself. Your team needs to make that phone call. On the phone call, you say, hi, this is Albina with Yoga One. How are you doing? I saw, as you calling this person, you open up the screen with their profile where you see what classes they went to. Hey, I saw you went to the 5 o'clock hot class with such and such. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, you didn't, it was too hot for you. Oh, do you know that we have another studio like across the hallway where we have air conditioned classes? Oh, that was too hard for you. Oh, I recommend you try a class with such and such, but please come back. You have 30 days of unlimited yoga. Come as many times as you can. This is why we give you this intro special so that you can try so many different classes. We have 150 yoga teachers on our team, 7 studios. It's so convenient. If you didn't like this person's class, come, maybe you'll jive with this person, blah, blah, blah. So the intention here is to connect with your client, answer their questions, make them feel welcome, connect with them, give them personalized attention. Week 2. Oh, look, it's shifted. Week 2, your yogi still comes to the studio. Your auto email goes in week 2. This is in the week 2 email, the auto email that you set up automatically for your software. You don't have to do anything special through it. That auto email tells them the irresistible offer. For us, it was this. Hey, John, you're on intro special. I hope you're enjoying this studio. We have whatever 500 classes a week. We have 7 locations. We have classes from hot yoga to flow to bhakti flow to yin yoga, blah blah blah. List out all the classes that you offer. Incredible community. And if you become a member within your 30-day intro special, you get a massive discount. Usually our auto pay membership is $99 a month, but if you sign up during your intro special, you save a massive amount of money. That auto pay membership is only $75 a month. And with that membership you get, and then you list out all the perks. Twice a year we have a free community event. Hey, last year we had it at the Verizon Stadium or whatever it was. Verizon Stadium, we had 2,000 people rocking out, committed to transforming our lives and living a healthy, happy, and inspired life. It was incredible. With your auto pay membership, you get those community events for free. You get a special t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. You get discounts on these workshops. You get a free juice. Whatever it is that you offer, put it in there. Week 3, like ideally yogi keeps coming to your community. In week 3, it's important that your team follows up with a phone call. So the phone call, while they're making the phone call, the client's profile is open. You know exactly when they came. You know what studio they came. You know where, what classes they came. You say, hey, this is Albina calling again. How are you doing? I see that you went to these classes. Did you like them? Do you have any questions for me? Oh, you need help, like your hip is hurting. Go to this person's class. She is a physical therapist. She's actually like an MD, like go to her class. Try out this class. Oh, yoga for athletes. If you are running marathons or triathlons, practice yoga once a week. It's going to improve your performance. You train your people what to say. You have to tell people that, to the point where, like, we role played with our team. Yeah, I'd be like, okay, it would make it fun, right? I'd be like, yeah, I don't have time. And then my team would know what to say if a person said, I don't have time. If we ironed out that process. We role played, we made it fun. We came up with like the most craziest excuses. We just made it a lot of fun, but we trained people on what to say in every single occasion. If somebody said, oh, my dog died and I just was sad and I couldn't come to yoga, we say, hey, I'm so sorry about your dog. how about this? I extend your interest special by another 2 weeks. Please come as many times as you can. And I promise you, you're going to feel so much better. You know, like you give your employees also some wiggle room to play around that. Or I'll give you, 3 complimentary classes. Come back, like check us out again. People usually appreciate that personal touch. And on that phone call, guys, listen up, on that 3rd week phone call, the person needs to mention the irresistible offer again, whatever it is. For us, it was $75 auto pay. And then week 4, auto email goes out with irresistible offers saying you can set it up. You say 5 days left for you to take advantage of this irresistible offer. You put in all the links in there so they can do it from the comfort of their own home. You can set it up on the software in such a way that they have this access to this discounted membership during this time only, and not after that. You can make it very clear in your email, and you say, hey, if you cannot, listen up, you guys, if you cannot commit to auto pay and you can only do like 5-class pass, this time only, I'm going to give you an opportunity to set up for a 5-class auto pay. This is something new. So you can say our regular auto 5-class pass is $80 or whatever. And you say, if you sign up for the 5-class auto pay, a 5-class renewal auto pay, you get it for $60, meaning it only replenishes when your 5-class passes out. And you give it always put a limited time frame that only during this intro special. So in that last week's email, you give them 2 options, right? 2 options. And then you train your front desk team also to talk about it. Like, like my really good front desk team, they would look and see where the software will usually flag it 3 days left or 5 days left on their intro special. So the front desk team can also say, hey, I see you only have 5 days left. If you sign up for auto pay, it's going to be only $75 a month. If you sign up for that 5-class pass replenish, it's only $60, but you can only do it in those 5 days that are remaining. Does it make sense? Take a deep breath. This map right now, you guys, this process that I mapped out for you, this is what took my revenues to, what did I say last time? Like it was exponential. It's like more than doubled my revenues in just a 6-month period. This process, once I identified it, once I printed it out like this on a piece of paper, I trained all my front desk team, all of my teachers how to do it in those mandatory team meetings. This more than doubled my revenues in 6-month period. This process here, this is what helped me create a thriving community of 7 yoga studios with multi-million-dollar revenues, annual revenues. And of course, it goes together with amazing community building, connection, all that great stuff. And in the end of the day, this process here, my pricing strategy, because it was so affordable and so easy and so clear, this would make it easy for people to commit and step on the path towards a happy, healthy, and inspired life. Do you know what I mean? It was cheap enough, it was affordable enough, it was fun, it was inspirational, it was incredible people, it was total mind-body transformation. This is ultimately all of these pieces together. This is what created the success of Yoga One. If I could start over 10 years ago, not having taught one single yoga class in my life, not knowing anything about the yoga industry, not having any experience in the customer service, nothing like that. If I can do it, you guys, you can do it too. You can do it, and I'm going to teach you how. You just listen, do, and you succeed. If you listen and you're like, oh, but it's not going to work. Oh, but it's not, but it's not, blah, 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 then it's not going to work. You just listen, you do, and you succeed. Like I said in one of those videos, like this is what you pay me big bucks for, you guys. At least listen, do for 6 months, or say, hey, I'm going to try this out for 6 months, but do it wholeheartedly 110%. In 6 months, measure it. If you're doing your KPIs, you should be doing your KPIs monthly, if not daily, if not weekly. You give it 6-month period, you measure your KPIs again, and if it doesn't work out for you, if you do it wholeheartedly 110%, and if it doesn't work out, ditch it then. But try it, and I guarantee you it's going to work. Like I said, I get really passionate about this stuff. Okay, 1 minute left. Oh, so I'm going to talk really fast now. Oh, I have a question. Ooh, okay, let's just go. Train your team, retrain them periodically. People forget it. Train them periodically. Train them every couple of months because they will forget. If you're hiring a new front desk person, make sure they're trained as well. Make that training fun. Yoga advisor versus all team sales. Some people, like that guy in Las Vegas with like crazy revenues, he had special people whose only job was to be a yoga advisor, or a person whose only job was to do that sales process. That's the person who made the phone calls. That's the person who was doing all the upsell conversation in person at the studio. As a matter of fact, they set it up in that studio. They set it up that a person couldn't even take yoga classes until they met with their yoga advisor, and it was like a 10-minute meeting. What we did at our studio, 7 studios, we did all team sales. In other words, everybody on our team, front desk team for sure, operations team in every studio, they were fully trained on the sales process. You don't have to, but I think in order to see a significant result, you have to motivate people. So what worked out really well for us, and what I highly recommend, is putting together some kind of bonus structure to convert clients for auto pay. So what we did at Yoga One in all 7 locations, because it was an all team effort, we said we're just going to make a bonus structure for an entire team. So if your studio signed up 50 new auto pay members, everybody on your team gets paid for 50. So, I mean, you can play with that and come up with your own bonus structure, but we said the director gets paid this much, assistant director gets this much, front desk team gets paid this much per every contract. It was something small like $3, but like $150 a month, it's pretty good, like if you're just doing your job, you can look at that. So what I say is introduce some sort of bonus structure to incentivize people to do this process for you, but train them adequately so they're prepared to do it, and do it eloquently with fun, and it doesn't feel like it's a sales. This is ultimately where your higher purpose comes into play. You're not selling the auto pay membership. You're helping people live a happy, healthy, and inspired life. You know that if this person comes to yoga 3 times a week, they're automatically going to be happy, healthy, and inspired. You know that. So what's the cheapest way to practice yoga? This is where your pricing strategy comes into play. The cheapest way for them to practice yoga is to sign up for auto pay. And like some people on my team were like, I quit my corporate job, and you asking me to do the sales. I'm like, look at the numbers. These are the numbers. Like, this is what we're about. Hey, like, it's not about the sales for us. It's about helping this person. And ultimately, this is a business. I pay your salary, right? So like, in order for me to pay your salary, I got to have the revenues. And ultimately, like, if there are people who are like, I'm not going to do the phone calls, I'm not going to do the sales, there will be no weeds in my garden. That's it. This is how everything is interrelated and connected. Add massive value to your auto pay clients, discounts, free stuff. Sometimes you can even do like a special parking spot for your Yoga of the Month, maybe a special t-shirt for the Yoga of the Month. Like, this is where you get to innovate, create, and have fun creating. In MindBody, and again, I'm not pushing for MindBody, it's just a software that I'm most familiar with. You can set up auto emails, you can set up receipt notes, whatever they purchased, you can put and advertise in your receipt notes that go in the email, that can be texted or printed, where you offer your irresistible offer, right? And the text messages can also be set up through through your software, so it's automatically being sent. This is where you need to know your KPIs. Run new clients reports every week. There needs to be a very specific system on how your team makes the phone calls. The way we did it, we ran new clients report every Monday. We assigned the people to the front desk team. Let's say John makes 5 calls every day on the days that he works. Amy makes 5 calls on the day that she works. Josh, because he's here more hours, makes this many people. Like, it was very clear. this person calls these people at this time. They need to make call logs in Mindbody. I don't know, like I said, I'm not very familiar with the other programs, but in Mindbody, there is a place where you log your calls. So let's say on August 22nd, Albina called. That was call number 1. This is what we talked about. And then you can run that call log report, and you as an owner look and see what your team is doing, because by looking at the call log reports, you can tell, like, if this person needs additional training, if this person doesn't know what they're talking about. Your job as a business owner, as a leader, to stay on top of things. Roger and I read those call logs reports every single week from all 7 studios, and then would come to that studio and train those people if needed to, would call them, will retrain them all the time, because ultimately the success of your business, your success, depends on how successful and how well trained and how well aligned your team is. Lastly, I'll say there is a lot of trainings and videos on MBO on demand. If you are using Mindbody online software, you can go on the help section. There is an on-demand videos and trainings. Watch at least 1 video a day. You're going to learn so much about the software. I guarantee you there is 85% of the possibilities of the things that you can do with the software that you don't even know right now. You're not using, you're paying for it, but you're not using it. So watch those MBO on demand videos. Stay on top of they always improve and upgrade the software. They go with the times. They know what's the latest trends in the industry are, and they're always coming up with new tools to make it easy for you to automate it as much as possible for you. Watch those MBO on demand videos. Maybe it's called MBU on demand. It's either Mindbody Online on demand or Mindbody University on demand, but it's free. You already pay for it if you're using Mindbody. There's some simple little things like pricing menu. There are some studios you walk in and there's nowhere to find out where the pricing is. If you're one of those studios, you need to fix that right away. Buy a freaking picture frame and hand draw the pricing, but make it visible for everybody. A person can walk in and look at the menu right away. And obviously your intro special and your auto pay irresistible offer need to be bold and centered, the first thing that they see. Everything else can be small, but you have to make it easy for people to buy stuff from you. Your menu needs to be very visible at the reception. If it's not, you need to create that menu right now, today. You cannot even go to lunch until you do that. Intro special, make flyers around the studio, put them in the bathroom. Irresistible offer, make it so that a person sits down on the toilet to pee and the thing that they see is your irresistible offer. Make it easy for people to spend money at your business. I've coached so many people, and some people make it so hard for people to spend money. Well, no wonder you're having a difficult time. No wonder your revenues are going down. You might have all this information in your head, but you're not communicating it to your community. So pricing menu, hire a graphic designer. I work with a really incredible graphic designer. Her name is Amelia. I've been working with her for 10 years. She's very professional. She's very creative. She's very fast, and she's very affordable. If you need me to connect you with her, I'm happy to do that. You know what? I'm going to actually create a resources page on my website, so you can go there and see all these resources. Is your sales material visible and clear? Website, again, is your irresistible offer front and center on your homepage? If not, you need to fix that today. Your irresistible offer needs to be the first thing, like your intro special and your irresistible offer need to be very clear on your website. It needs to be on your homepage, front and center in big, bold red letters so that people can see it, because these are your ultimate money makers. Intro special and irresistible offer. For us, it was auto pay special. Easy to buy. Make it very easy to buy from your website, from the homepage. Like when I had my Yoga One website, it was all pretty and colorful and nice pictures and all, but there was a bright yellow button that said buy now, exclamation, buy now. So you see all this pretty stuff, but buy now was you look at it because I wanted people to go to that buy now button and buy stuff now, like buy class passes, buy interest special, like it was leading to the menu, what I'm saying. Social media is important. You're posting regularly. I recommend posting every day on Instagram, post every day on social media, Facebook, whatever else you're using. And once a week, you have to post one post about your interest special, one post about your irresistible offer. Like you can do the inspirational stuff, but you have to advertise stuff that makes you money at least 3 times a week, right? And what I suggest is intro offer, irresistible offer, and whatever else you have going on, teacher training, workshop, retreats, or whatever else. Any auto pay perks, if you have perks like discounts, free events, post about that stuff too. Make like an auto pay perks graphic, something like catchy, beautiful, with a beautiful image. Like if you're going to do any marketing collateral, freaking hire Amelia, spend whatever she charges, $50 for per poster. You're gonna have a ROI, return on your investment, within the first day. Like if you make a beautiful poster with your auto pay specials and stuff, the perks and stuff, you're gonna make up that money, I promise you. Yogi of the month, people love seeing themselves featured on the website, on social media. Like do that. Even when I ran my 7 studios or 12 businesses, I personally would take pictures. We had a database with all the pictures, but I would personally write something from my heart about every single teacher on my team. And everybody knew that I wrote them. And I'd be like, Adri is so incredible. Because I trained them all myself. I know them. So I would from my heart write something I truly admire about them. And I think my team really, really appreciate that. And for our community, they wanted to try Adri's class because they just read all these incredible things about her. Okay, I'm running a little bit late, you guys. I'm sorry. Like I said, I get so excited about it. So your homework, create your sales process. Send it to Albina. Sales process. Set up your auto emails. I will record a bonus tutorial for you. I'll record you a video how to make it super easy in Mindbody. I'll put it as a bonus material. Email your KPIs and current and new pricing options to Albina. I ask you that you email me all of this stuff in one email. Don't piecemeal me. Even to this day, I get so many emails. So send me one email with all that stuff in it. So sales process, your KPIs, your current and new pricing options to Albina. Once I have that, we'll schedule a one-on-one call because, even though I'm sharing with you really awesome information here, if I do say so myself, I want to give you some one-on-one time with myself. I want to, if that's okay, if this is something that you want, I want to review the changes that you're considering about implementing, and then maybe I can give you some suggestions on to improve those processes and give you a list of recommendations. So I think that can be really, really valuable for you, this one-on-one time, individualized attention. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. I'm sorry it took a little bit longer than promised. I hope it was worth your time. Please reach out with any questions. In the next 2 weeks before our next call, I will be expecting to see these emails from you guys. Once I collect all the information, once I review all this information, that's when we'll start scheduling one-on-one calls with myself. All right. Have a wonderful day. I love you all. Bye-bye.